Cities, bustling with the lives of the busy, with the average person spending their days working, sleeping, eating, and even on social networks, we've struggled to find the time for ourselves. Hidden within most cities are the unique individuals who have tapped into the discipline of parkour. These are our city jumpers. Setting personal goals to better themselves physically and mentally, you can find pockets of these groups striving to make the most of their environment. But exactly how do they describe parkour?
So parkour is about travelling from place to place in the most efficient manner, regardless of the obstacles or terrain that lies in between.
Well, parkour is interesting because whilst a lot of people practice it, not all that many fully understand it, I'd say. So parkour isn't just about vaulting over objects and about doing stuff which some people might consider to be impressive. Parkour is a discipline geared around personal improvement with the physical side of it, and that leads on to the mental aspects as well.
Birds do parkour, people do parkour, everything does parkour in a sense. It's just movement, it's a discipline.
If I could try to put it into words, it would be about moving over obstacles and trying to break difficult obstacles down and finding a way to overcome them, whether they're physical or mental obstacles, because not some challenges are more mental. A small jump on the ground is quite easy for anybody to do, even a beginner. But if you put that jump up 100 feet or 1,000 feet, even a very experienced person with a big jump would suddenly be scared, and that's a mental obstacle.
One thing which is hard to convey in videos and that you don't really get when you watch certain videos on YouTube is the difficulty of the movements in the commitment to do those movements. So it's one thing to say, oh, anyone can jump between those walls, but when you're actually stood there and you're weighing something up and you've got to at some point commit to doing that movement, it's not very easy to overcome. And so there is a mental aspect which only comes across really when you actually try it. And it's funny how you can be an armchair practitioner at home watching it, saying, I could do that, oh, why can't you do that jump? And different people have different natural levels of ability. For some people, doing a jump 10 feet up might be quite easy. For somebody else, it might be very difficult, you know. And the mental side of it is perhaps the most challenging aspect. Certainly for me it is anyway.
Though one cannot deny that watching parkour is impressive for any spectator, participants live by the philosophy of self-betterment and improvement physically and mentally. We met up with the Northern Parkour Group, a Manchester-based group that trains 3 times a week. We wondered what brought the individuals of Manchester to parkour.
I had a few friends who saw videos on YouTube. They got me into it, trying to get me to film them, but I had a go and liked it. I'm still at it and they're not.
I started at the very start of 2005, and at that time a TV documentary had just aired on Channel 4 called Jump Britain, which was a follow-up to another documentary that was aired the previous year. And yeah, here I am today still doing it.
I saw some videos online. Originally, I remember seeing the Jump London documentaries. That was over 10 years ago now. But so I didn't know anybody in the scene who wanted to train. None of my friends wanted to do it. We were all like probably too old. And I didn't realise there was anybody training in Manchester. And it wasn't until I saw some documentaries made by the Manchester people on YouTube that I realised people train in Manchester.
So different people get different things from parkour. Some people do it for fun, some people do it just to get in shape, but other people do it because they're overcoming their own challenges. Parkour has had a very positive impact on my life in particular. I mean, it's hard to say what would be the case if I hadn't done parkour, because, you know, I've been doing it for so long now, but I would say it's improved confidence, both in the training itself and in other aspects of life in general as well. And, you know, it's kept me fit. One of the people who we train with who's been overcoming an illness is Scott Waterhouse, and he was diagnosed some time ago with fibromyalgia. He can tell you a lot more about it himself, but it's essentially a muscle wasting disease. And when he first took an interest in parkour, you know, he was registered as disabled. He could hardly move. Everything that he did was a real struggle.
We meant to meet up with Scott to learn more about the changes in his life.
My name is Scott. I came down with fibromyalgia about 4 years ago.
Fibromyalgia is a long-term condition that causes pain all over the body. With symptoms of muscular pain or spasms, weakness, fatigue or joint stiffness, it renders most with limited mobility. Scott had tried a number of different therapies, from physiotherapy, hydrotherapy, as well as acupuncture and drugs, but the struggle continued.
Well, I couldn't do anything before. I couldn't push a door open. I'd have this habit of going through doors backwards. And instead of walking normally, I'd walk like this, because I didn't have the strength here. Same in the legs.
He came across a YouTube video explaining and showing the idea of muscle conditioning for parkour, presented by the Northern Parkour group. He began to copy their exercises with low repetitions and found over the period of many months the pain began to become bearable and somewhat ease. Though not free from the condition, Scott has managed to maintain a decent level of health and become an active member of the Northern Parkour group.
Everything I can do, from the moves that they do to just opening doors, walking upstairs, I can do thanks to this training.
I know he's got a lot of benefit from it, and it has actually had a positive effect on his condition.
The Northern Parkour group worked hard on what they have achieved, spending at least one day training a week, whether it be muscle conditioning to adapt the muscles to the movement, or practicing a move over and over to conquer their fears. They demonstrated a skill that has slowly grown throughout the UK and the world, and explained the fundamentals of a discipline. Before we wrapped up our journey with the unique individuals we have met, we wanted a final word on what it is about the discipline that they love the most.
I don't know what I like the most about parkour. I just like doing it, and it's just being outside, you know, moving around, working on stuff, and not being at work, which is good.
It's free. The people you train with, they all have a positive mindset. They're not trying to completely outdo you. It is competitive to a tiny degree, but not massively. It doesn't really matter. Ultimately, you're only competing with yourself to try and push yourself and get stronger or fitter.
More free. You can do what you want, have fun.
One of the beauties of this sport is that it don't really need anything to start. You can just turn up on the street and practice, but you don't need anything. One of the elements that I really like about it is that it's so accessible to people from all social backgrounds.
Parkour has presented itself as a new method of seeing and getting around your environment, moving effectively and overcoming challenges on various scales. The discipline changes lives, helping and maintaining a level of fitness, pushing you to overcome your fears, and can even bring new life to a terrible situation. It's a discipline for self-betterment with groups for support, proving that anything is possible with a little bit of a push.